What's up, guys? I hope you're having a great Revenge of the Fifth. I spent hours yesterday working on a video to try to get a video on May the 4th, but went terribly awry and just kind of gave up for the day. But I hope you had a great International Star Wars Day, and I wanted to come today, even a day late, with an awesome video. I chose to show my favorite books to you, Star Wars books. So I'm going to cheat a little bit because the first few are actually comic books, but that's kind of also how I got into comic books, was through Star Wars. Because I've always been a Star Wars fan. It's always been my favorite of the franchises. So yeah, so I'm going to give you some comic books to read that are really good. I'm going to give you maybe some more fun kid books if you're younger, so that you can read some really fun Star Wars books. And then I'll give you the best Star Wars books that I have read. Alright, so let's jump in. Alright, so I'm going to start off with current runs, or runs that just happened like in the last year or two. The first one I want to show is Obi-Wan and Anakin. This was like, it only lasted like 5 or 6 issues, but it was so good. It was a story. Obi-Wan and Anakin end up in this strange world where no technology works back and forth, and it's kind of interesting just to see the dynamic between a young Anakin and a young trainer Obi-Wan, and just really good. I was so sad when they canceled that one because it was just so good. I can't believe it. That's the movie we want. Like, we need more movies with Anakin and Obi-Wan between episodes 2 and 3, or even between episodes 1 and 2. That'd be excellent. I was watching a Geeks and Gamers video a little bit ago, and I think it was Jeremy's talking about the Han Solo movie and how that's not one that we've asked for. I was like, the Han Solo we've asked for is between episodes 6 and 7. There's been some really great books on that. They should have done a movie between those, and we don't really care about Han Solo before episode 4. But whatever. It might be a good movie. We'll see. I'm gonna do another video about that movie, anyways. So second is a series that ended last year, and it is Darth Vader. Sorry about the glare. This comic book series is excellent. They introduced Dr. Aphra, which I thought was a stupid character, but I mean, she worked well in Darth Vader. She at least understood who Darth Vader was, and so I thought you learn a lot about Darth Vader through her, and just her assumptions. She's a fine secondary character. I didn't care about the Solo series that they gave her. I was like, why in the world would you give this like second-rate character her own series? But I guess some people like her. If you like her, I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you've enjoyed some Star Wars comics. And then lastly, I know it's the same, Darth Vader. It's the second run that just happened. Sully, different writer. This one has been way better. This one is so good. It's all about Darth Vader. There's some weird things that I just thought were different because they're breaking what I consider canon. But I'll overlook that because it's a really good story. It really shows like the evilness of Darth Vader. It really gets into his mindset, which I really like a lot. So if you're not reading this, it's still going. Pick it up. It's great. One of my favorites was when he meets the librarian from the Jedi Temple. It's an excellent story. Alright, let's speed things along. Star Wars Rite of Passage. This is a really fun book. These two Jedi end up going to help save one of their former master and their friend, mentor, and they team up to go fight them. They go up against some of the greatest odds, and I've always been an Ayla Secura fan. She's one of my favorite of the Jedi Council. Love love her. I like a lot of Jedi with two blades that carry two blades, but I've always liked her. I've always played her in like Battlefront 2, the original one, not the new one. So this is real fun. It's a fun book. So you can get that as Dark Horse. All right, and then Star Wars: The Clone Wars Volume 3. Now the best story of this is at the very end. This takes place after Episode 2, which has Anakin killing all the Sand People to save his mother. But at the very end, you get this really awesome story where Anakin teams up with a a Jedi that is one of the Sand People, and it is excellent. I think his name is Master Het, and that's the cover for that issue. It's so good. He also uses two lightsabers. I have a thing for Jedi who carry two lightsabers. You can kind of see them up under there. He's got two, and there's another one where, look at that. That's so cool. That's so cool. He's fighting with two green lightsabers. I love it. I love it. So that's a fun book. I really want to finish getting this series. I know Dark Horse isn't allowed to have Star Wars anymore, but Dark Horse had some really, really great stories. So love this one. Lastly, for comic books, Star Wars Tales Volume 6. I know I'm saying buy the whole thing for one story. This has one of my favorite Star Wars stories ever. It is so good. It's called Nomad. I don't remember who wrote it, but it's about this character who has this Jedi crash land near his house. I don't want to spoil anything because it's just so good. And but there's a Sith that is chasing that Jedi, and the Sith kills his whole family, and so he goes after him. Goes after the Sith, trying to get revenge or something like that. It's been a long time since I've read it. It's so good, so good. I'm trying to find the best picture. There's a really cool picture near the beginning of the story where he is taking on some thugs. It's pretty sweet. But I'm not able to find it right now for some reason. So that's a really great book. I love it. They got a bunch of other stories which are fun. Some of them are a little cheesy, but it's got a lot of cool things. The Star Wars Tales was excellent book series, so I highly recommend it. Alright, so for some fun ones, and some of these are for kids. I loved it as a kid. I got the Star Wars Galactic Phrase Book and Travel Guide, and as a kid I used to try to learn Ewokese, and it was mostly Ewokese, but there's some others like Gungan. You can learn some of the other different places like Carillion, Hutzies, Bocce, and Wookiee. It's even got droids, so that's a really fun book to read. This one, this is Episode 1, Adventures. There was a whole series. I think there's only like 5 or 6 of them made or written, and they have like a companion book that's like a game that you can play. But it's Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it is so good. So it's pre-Episode 1, and you see what it's like to what Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn were like together. Just really develops those two characters a lot. Darth Maul's I think one of them. So good. And I know it's for kids, whatever. But if you're a kid and you like reading books, it's really easy to read. It's real thin. It's really good. So then the last kids book is Star Wars: The Golden Globe, the Junior Jedi Knight series. And that might be backwards for you. I just realized that. Anyways, this is a great series. It's Anakin Solo and Tahiri. Excuse me. They are awesome together. Anakin Solo is one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time, and Tahiri as well. And they go on adventures in the in Yavin 4, and it's so cool. It's so good. And of course, it's for kids, but I like kid stories too. I mean, so I think Star Wars is really written for all ages. But anyway, some more adult books because I want to get to those. All right, so Star Wars: A Path to Destruction. This is the origin of Darth Bane, and it is phenomenal. It's by the same guy who wrote The Old Republic. I think that's him, Drew Karpyshyn. I don't know how you say his last name. I think he also wrote Revan, and I need to read that. I have it. I've had it for a long time. I need to read it. I'm a really slow reader, but this book is so good. Um, if you don't know much about Darth Bane, which I didn't before I read this, this is good. The sequel is good, and I need to read the third book too. I'm just, like I said, I'm really terrible at reading. I'm really slow, but excellent book. Excellent book. It really, like at the beginning of the book, you kind of like are hoping that he's going to have a good life and that he's going to be saved, that he's going to be a good guy, and then he just like some things happen and he just turns so dark so fast, and it's wonderful. Uh, it's so good. It's so good, and just like his mind just really delves into like the what it means to be Sith, and he does all sorts of stuff. It's so good. I think Bane is the one who says there should talks about the rule of two, or brings it back from the time of Revan, because I think Revan refound it, and then it was lost again, and then Bane finds it again, and so Bane kind of destroys, like, figures out a way to destroy like everybody. It's so good. It's so good. So read it. Another good book, Revenge of the Sith. It's episode 3, and it is so dark. And this book is way darker than the film. Like, it takes the book and just makes it crazy dark. It's so good though. Like, he starts off with a poem. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, he starts like, there's a little bit, I'm going to skip a little ways down. It says, "It is happening as you read these words. This is how 25 millennia came to a close. Corruption and treachery have crushed 1,000 years of peace. This is not just the end of the Republic. Night is falling on civilization itself. This is the twilight of the Jedi. The end starts here." Go read this book. Go buy it. It's so good. It's so good. It really gets into like the mindset of Anakin Skywalker as he's turning to the dark side, and it's just way better than the movie. Way better than the movie. So if you haven't read it, go read it. All right. Star Wars trilogy. This is really good. It's so good. They're way better than the movies. I love George Lucas, but this is good. So if you haven't actually read the book, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and The Return of the Jedi, you need to go watch it. Alright, this is probably my favorite Star Wars book that's ever been made. Alright, and it is called The Illustrated Star Wars Universe. This book is amazing. I like it because of the landscapes. I'm just look at that. I think this is on Dagobah. That is so beautiful. It's got all sorts of different try to find. Look at that. Look at that. I think that's Coruscant. Wow. I think they even have Alderaan. There's some Tatooine. That's inappropriate. trying to find. Oh wow! Look at this. That's beautiful. Some of these pictures are just so good. There's Alderaan. Alright, I gotta show you Alderaan because Alderaan. Look at that. That's so good. That's so good. You've got to buy this book. This just goes. It's all about the planets. It's all about like what the planets are like in the Star Wars universe, and there's only like I don't know 6 or 7. There's only like 6 or 7 planets that they even talk about, but the illustrations are so vivid. Like they had like a professional artist drawing them, and man, it's good. It's so good. So if you haven't seen that, I love it. I love it. It's better than all those like big, tall, skinny ones that are like, here's all the pictures of the insides of the ships of the universe, which I like, and, or here's one of the Jedi Order or stuff like that, and I like those. But this one, they put some real hard work. I mean, even the cover itself has got just some fantastic artwork on there. I mean, when I found it, I was blown away. It's so good. Anyways, so hope you enjoyed that. I hope you get some of those books because they're really fun. They're really good, really well written. And I didn't put like episode 1 and 2, which I really liked as well. They're just Terry. Forget the guy's name who wrote episode 1. Terry something. I've never read any of his other books, but that one was really good. That's kind of made me want to read some of the others, but you know, as a slow reader, I have to be super picky. But you know, so all of the episode books are good, but those are the ones that I recommend, 4 through 6, or 3 through 6. So, anyways, I hope you have a great Star Wars weekend, and I'll catch you on the next video.